Welcome to DoIt4Her's presentation on how he managed to get Immortal in Dota 2. I appreciate you taking your time to watch this, and please feel free to ask any questions in the comments or to me directly. What does Immortal mean to me? Immortal is an accumulation of years of work being put into a goal. Thousands of hours were put into this, and at times it felt like it wasn't going to be achievable. The goal of Immortal seemed like something that would be rewarding to me. It's more than just a rank or a number. It's a testament to the work that I put in to achieve a goal. I hope that everyone can find an Immortal grind in their own lives so they can truly feel this excitement. I wasn't alone on this journey. I had Ashen here as my duo partner for a lot of the time. I had Mr. Hefner here to show me that Immortal was possible. Terrapic, Ilord, Lineart, Meat and Bread, Ararafta, Shiresta, all were a part of the journey and some of the people that I played with during these 7,000 hours. With any great journey, there are multiple steps along the way. Starting with March 3rd, 2012. It was when I played my first game of Dota 2. I remember being in my friend's basement where I played Skeleton King. It was a great experience, and it was the beginning of something new. From 2012 to 2024, I call it the fun zone. Over 7,000 games of Dota were played. There were LAN parties. There was online 5 stacks, duo stacks, solo queues, trios. I remember lots of times playing in my basement of my parents' house with all my friends, just enjoying the game of Dota 2. On November 10th, 2024, I received a picture from Mr. Hefner of him getting Immortal, and I knew it was time to unretire and begin the grind for the ultimate goal in Dota. And finally, on February 10th, 2025, I joined the ranks of Immortals. After the inspiration from Mr. Hefner, I was able to get locked in and complete the grind with Ashen. After being inspired by Mr. Hefner to come back, I felt like I was getting stagnant. I wasn't making the progress that I was hoping for, and so I made a call to battle that I will make a push for Immortal like my hero. Some people thought this was corny. Some people thought I was acting like I was the main character. But really, this was a message to myself that I had a goal and I wanted to do it. I wasn't afraid anymore, and I was going to tell people I wanted to achieve something, and that I hoped others would join me and keep me accountable. And so my call at 5:43 p.m. on November 26, 2024, I, DoIt4Her, will embark on a journey of not just glory but honor as well. My current Dota MMR is 4598. And rank is Divine 1 with -% to the next medal. The goal is Immortal, like my hero Mr. Hefner. I'm excited for the long road ahead and excited for you to join me. You can check out my progress by checking my Dota buff and message me about my progress. Let's go! Here's a graph of my MMR in the blue and the goal of Immortal in the red. For those who don't know, MMR is the point system Dota uses to rank the players. 5,620 MMR is the magic number for Immortal. It took 272 games, but eventually the goal was met. In any journey, there are multiple variables that play a part in the outcome. For me, there are 4 main keys to success if I wanted to gain MMR. Party size, position, hero choice, and double downs. Each variable in a game of Dota determined the path of my MMR. I had to learn how to use each variable to my advantage if I wanted to gain MMR. One of the most important parts of tracking my main 4 variables is the Dota tracker sheet that I created. Dota has its own system, and so do third-party clients, but I wanted to track in my own way that I think would benefit me the best. I gathered data on each game and created pivot tables and charts from this data. I even had a tab where I made note of the awful people I played with or against, and if I saw them on the enemy team, I knew it was a free win and I would double down. The first variable was party size. Most of my games were played in a duo queue with Ashen, but I also played a good amount of solo games. I actually lost more games than I won in duo queue, but thanks to double downs, I went +9 MMR. My highest win rate was when I played solo at a 64.04% win rate and a total MMR gained of 1120. The solo games were tough. Even though I was winning almost 2/3 of my games, the mental damage was too much. There was so much yelling, screaming, and feeding from my random teammates. But it's all a part of the journey, and sometimes it's not about where you're going, but how you're getting there. The next key variable was position. The main thing to decide was whether I should play offlane, the 3 position, or support, the 4 and 5 position. During my comeback to Dota, I started as the 3 position and would play a few games of support here and there. After collecting data, I realized how much more I was winning as support than offlane, so I made the change to support. I had my highest win rate as position 4 at a win rate of 58.70%, but most of my MMR was gained as the 5 position, where I gained 837 MMR. The hero choice played a big role in winning games of Dota. Playing offlane, I played a lot of Axe and Slardar, but I barely gained MMR as the 2 heroes. Most of the MMR gained was from guessing double downs correctly. When I switched to support, I made Lion, Lich, and Disruptor. I had my most success as Lich with a 66.67% win rate and gained 568 MMR. Double downs was the last key factor. Double downs was a temporary thing in Dota where you could double the MMR being bet on a game. Normally it was around 25 MMR, but with a double down, it would make the game worth 50 MMR. It could propel you to new heights in MMR if you won, or ruin your will to live if you lost a game you thought you should win. When I choose to double down, I would win more than when I wouldn't double down. I had a 55.81% win rate versus a 53.76% win rate when doubling versus not doubling. An extra 282 MMR was gained by using double down tokens. Statistically, I should have doubled down every game because I had a positive win percentage, especially in my solo games. But sometimes you just see awful heroes on your team and you get scared to do it. Plus, double downs did cost some real life money, and I'm cheap as hell. There is a reason there are 4 keys to success, and not just one. You couldn't just look at one variable and say, oh, this is what I have to do to win. No, there were so many factors that went into winning. As I dove deeper into the data, I was able to find the truth of what it would take to gain MMR and achieve the status of Immortal. I realized my hero selection when playing solo versus duo really mattered. In duo play, I only went positive win rate as Lich, where I gained 362 MMR. All other heroes I went minus 353 MMR for a net gain of 9 MMR. When playing solo, I gained MMR as every hero except Centaur, Jakiro, and Mars. Basically, if I play support, except Jakiro, in a solo game, it's free MMR. Analyzing the data was the only true way to discover how I could gain MMR. Sometimes I wish I could say I won every game straight to Immortal, but it wasn't always like that. I had my ups, I had my downs. Sometimes I felt like I wasn't going anywhere no matter what I did. In Dota, the ranks go Divine 1, Divine 2, Divine 3, Divine 4, Divine 5, and then Immortal. When I played a few games, I got calibrated as a Divine 1 player, so I had a long way to go if I wanted Immortal. At the beginning, I skyrocketed out of Divine 1 and right into Divine 2, but shortly after I was humbled and losing MMR fast. At game 58, I made the call to battle, and at game 70, I was at my lowest MMR of 4,475. From there, I went on a 9-game win streak and gained 310 MMR. Eventually, at game 127, I got into Divine 3 and stayed stagnant until game 157. I then proceeded to destroy everything in my path, went on a 14-2 run, and gained 425 MMR and got into Divine 4. Divine 4 was my shortest time in an MMR bracket. I played 27 games and got into Divine 5. Divine 5, though, was the hardest bracket. For the first 32 games, I only went down in MMR. I felt like the cores, positions 1, 2, and 3, so I only forgot how to play Dota. My theory is that they already got into Immortal, and were learning new heroes, positions, so they sucked. I even had a few griefers who intentionally lost games. At game 233, I looked at the data and said it was time to finish this journey alone. I knew the only way was to continue the painful route of playing solo Dota, so I locked in for 40 games and gained 374 MMR until I finally got Immortal. Mr. Hefner told me the secret to winning, but I didn't implement it until way later. You had to baby your core players. If they got a kill or a last hit, I was using the chat wheel saying, well played. The goal was to hype up your core so much, they wouldn't even think about tilting. Supporting in Dota is more about emotional supporting than it is physical supporting. Convince these cores they're the greatest player to ever exist, and you'll win. Also, don't forget to tip the enemy cores when they die, so they mauled. In summary, I gained 1,088 MMR across 272 games. My solo win rate was 64.04%, and my best hero was Lich, and my best role was support. And finally, I achieved Immortal rank. Thank you for watching my journey to Immortal. It was a great one to experience.